Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now Bitcoin is bouncing from these exact short-term price targets as the price is now retesting a critical level on the chart, while we're also seeing a new signal flash in the short term that we need to pay attention to. So I'll be talking about that in just a moment, alongside Ethereum also retesting a critical level on the chart. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, just giving you a quick update on the Bitcoin ETF news today, and on the Wednesday, the Thursday, and the Friday, we saw multiple net outflows from the Bitcoin ETFs. So first of all, on the Wednesday, we saw a net outflow of around 120 million US dollars. On Thursday, we saw a net outflow from the Bitcoin ETFs of around 217 million US dollars. And on Friday, we saw another net outflow of around 83 million US dollars. And so just over the Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, this totaled a net outflow over those 3 days of around 421.8 million US dollars, leaving the Bitcoin ETFs. And as always, a net outflow is considered bearish because that's basically US dollars leaving the Bitcoin ETFs, and because they're spot Bitcoin ETFs, that basically means selling spot Bitcoin to gather US dollars to pay out those funds. And so for everyone out there that might be thinking the ETFs have no impact on the price of Bitcoin, well, if we're taking a look at this selling pressure over the last 3 days or so on that Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday from the Bitcoin ETFs, and if we're taking a look at the Bitcoin price over those 3 days, we can clearly see that once again, the ETFs do indeed have an impact on the price of Bitcoin. And so for as long as we're seeing decent net outflows coming out of the Bitcoin ETFs, there is a good chance that we could continue to see a little bit more short-term bearish price action. But obviously, on the other hand, if there's a lot of net inflows coming into the Bitcoin ETFs, then that can cause short-term bullish price action, like what we saw around 1 to 2 months after the Bitcoin ETFs actually launched back in January. But anyway, with that being said, taking a look at the Bitcoin charts here on the daily time frame, right now Bitcoin is still potentially forming a massive bullish flag pattern. And so this chart right here on the daily time frame over the last 1 day has not really changed all that much. So if you're new to the channel and you want to know more about this chart right here, then check out my last video here on the channel. And the same can really be said about this daily Bitcoin chart showing the DXY here in the red line, because since yesterday, this has not really changed all that much. So once again, if you're new to the channel and you want to know more about this chart right here, then check out my last video here on the channel. And so zooming into the shorter term, looking at the 4-hour time frame, and right now the price of Bitcoin is still basically trading within this sideways price range in between this support and this resistance. First of all, this area of support is sitting in between around 61,000 to 62,000, with some support at around 60,000. And as for resistance, we do have resistance in between around 65 to 66,000, with some more short-term resistance at around 67,000. And above that, we have another area of resistance in between 68 to 69,000. And as of right now, at least in the short term here, the price of Bitcoin is kind of lacking momentum to either direction. So like I've said over the last couple of days, we're not really looking overly bullish or overly bearish just in the short term here, because we're basically in a sideways price range, especially on this daily time frame here in this massive bullish flag pattern. But if we're taking a look at this 4-hour Bitcoin chart, first of all, I said back here on the channel when the price was at around 66 to 67,000, I said that we had this rising wedge pattern, which was a bearish pattern forming in the short term. And basically, the moment we confirmed to break to the downside below this line of support, that set up this short-term bearish price target sitting at around 62,500, or more specifically, around 62.6 to 62.7K. And I said on the channel right around here that we have already hit this technical price target, and we just now hit this price target again. And once again, as I said previously here on the channel, we should be expecting at least some support around this price target, so around 62,500, give or take, which we are now running into. But if we actually break below around 62,500, then there is a pretty good chance that we could head down towards these local lows, which is sitting at around 60 to 61,000 approximately. But once again, between now and then, we still have this area of support to pay attention to, which could potentially prevent the price even going down towards those lower levels if there's enough demand in this area. And if we're zooming further into the short term, looking at the 2-hour time frame, I said in my last video that we have this potential head and shoulders pattern, which is a bearish pattern just in the imminent short term. And since my last video, we have now confirmed a break below that neckline of support, which was sitting at around 63.4k. But since that initial break to the downside, obviously we've come back up for a retest of that level. And basically, if we confirm a breakout back above 63.4k with candle closes back above that level, then that will invalidate this break to the downside and invalidate this pattern and price target. But as of right now, we have not yet confirmed a breakout back above that neckline. So at least for now, it's still possible that this pattern could continue to play out. But basically, in order to keep this price target active on the chart, we need to see some sort of rejection very soon from this level that I just mentioned. Because basically, if we reject from that level, essentially flipping previous support into new resistance, then that would actually be an extra confirmation signal, further confirming the break to the downside towards this price target, which is sitting at around $60,000. And so right now, at the time of recording this video, at least in the short term for the price of Bitcoin, this is really a make or break moment, because once again, we're extremely close to potentially invalidating the break to the downside altogether. But at the same time, if we do not actually confirm those candle closes above 63.4k and instead we see that rejection, then that could be a sign that we could be heading down towards around $60,000, especially if we break below around 62,500. So those are the levels to watch out for on the chart. And now, if you're new to all of this, or if you're new to trading in general, then you might be thinking that I'm just talking about how Bitcoin could be either going up or down. But it's important to understand for anyone that's new to trading, it does not matter what direction the price goes, you can make money in either direction. And so all that really matters when it comes to trading is an entry point, so basically a signal to enter a trade, and a potential price target, basically an exit for that trade. And so this is not financial advice, but just an example of that would be, let's just say if we confirm a break below 62,500, that could be a potential signal to enter a short position with this price target in mind to exit that position, or at least take profits. Or on the other hand, if we confirm a breakout back above this level right here, that could be a potential signal to enter a short-term long position. And once again, that is not personal financial advice. I'm just giving you some examples of how we can make money in either direction based off different signals that could confirm and different price targets in either direction. And so once again, when it comes to short-term trading in the price of Bitcoin, it really does not matter trying to predict the direction of the price. We just need to pay attention to signals and price targets, and we can make money in either direction. And if you want to trade these moves in the price of Bitcoin or any other crypto, personally, I trade those moves over on Bybit, so I'll make sure to leave a link to Bybit in the description down below and in the pinned comment. And in fact, if you use that link down below this video to make a Bybit account and deposit on that account, you can get up to a $30,000 deposit bonus, but only if you use that link down below this video. And also, if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here where you can claim an exclusive 200 USDT airdrop position. But you can only claim this free airdrop if you actually use the link down below this video to make a Bybit account. And so if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out. Once again, first link down below this video. But for whatever reason, if you cannot access Bybit or if you cannot KYC on Bybit, there is also Bitflex, which is another crypto exchange similar to Bybit, but you don't need KYC for Bitflex. And so I'll also make sure to leave a link to Bitflex down below this video as an alternative crypto exchange. And what we are also seeing in the short term for the price of Bitcoin here on the 2-hour time frame as well is a new bullish divergence pattern, which has just confirmed. Because as of right now on the 2-hour time frame, we have confirmed lower lows in the price of Bitcoin in the candle closes, while also confirming higher lows in the 2-hour Bitcoin RSI, which is a bullish divergence. And in case you're new to all of this, a bullish divergence usually plays out in the form of reduced bearish momentum, which means either choppy sideways price action or a bullish relief in the short term as the most likely outcomes. But we have to consider the fact that this is only on the 2-hour time frame. It's not like it's on the daily or the weekly time frame. So usually these smaller patterns on smaller time frames don't play out very long. And so it's possible that this could continue playing out possibly over the next 1 to 2 days or so, especially if we break out back above this level on the 2-hour time frame. But basically, I'll not be expecting this to play out over weeks and weeks from now. Once again, potentially over the next 1 to 2 days or so. And if we're taking a quick look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, we still have some liquidity to the downside at around 62,000 approximately. But we still have a lot of liquidity to the upside. First of all, this main level of liquidity is sitting at around 67.3 to 67,500. And on larger time frames, we also have much more liquidity as well at around 71,500 and 73,000. And so basically those higher levels of liquidity will likely ultimately draw the price to the upside at some point in the future, because usually the price of Bitcoin likes to trend towards where there's most liquidity, and so keep that in mind. And if we're taking a quick look at the Bitcoin and crypto funding rates across multiple different exchanges, right now the funding rates are still overall sitting below neutral, because the neutral funding rate is 0.01%. So anything below that basically means there's a lot of people in the market wanting to short crypto and not a lot of traders looking to long the market. And basically, when we start seeing these negative funding rates, that basically means the short positions are having to pay those funding rates as a fee to the long positions. And so basically, these below neutral funding rates or negative funding rates are seen as a bullish signal for the market, because they incentivize new longs to open and existing shorts to close, which adds buying pressure. And so with these funding rates already below neutral right now, already starting to flip into the negative territory, of course, as of right now, if the price of Bitcoin does indeed go any lower, then pretty quickly the funding rates are going to get very negative. So even if we do go a little bit lower in the short term, that could likely turn the funding rates very negative, which could ultimately cause a short squeeze later on. And so this is actually very healthy to see for the larger bullish trend, because, for example, if right now the funding rates were extremely overheated above neutral, then that would be a bit of a bad sign for the bullish trend. But anyway, taking a look at Ethereum on the 8-hour time frame, right now the price of ETH is retesting a critical area of resistance, sitting in between around 3.2k to 3250. And previously, this was massive support and resistance for the price multiple times here on the chart. So this is definitely an important area to pay attention to. And if we ultimately confirm a breakout with candle closes above 3250, obviously in the short term, that will be a bullish confirmation signal, likely sending the price up towards the next major resistance, sitting in between around 3470 to 3530. And we also have another significant level of resistance at around 3650. And as for support, we do have some short-term support at around 3.1k, with significant support in between around 2850 to 2950. And at least as of right now, while the price of ETH has not yet confirmed this breakout above 3250, at least for now, we're still basically in this sideways price range where the price has basically been chopping around sideways. But what we can also see right now is a potential cup and handle pattern, which is a bullish pattern. So if we confirm a breakout above 3250, that would confirm this potential cup and handle pattern. And in that case, that will set up a bullish price target for that potential cup and handle pattern. If we confirm the breakout once again above 3250, that will set up a price target at around 3590, just below 3.6k. And so from the point of the breakout to that price target, we're talking about a potential 10% move to the upside in the price of ETH if we actually first confirm this breakout right here. And once again, even if we confirm this breakout and set up that bullish price target, we have to remember that between now and that price target, there is also this other area of resistance where the price could still struggle at. And if we're zooming further into the short term, looking at the 3-hour time frame, it's basically safe to say at this point that this previous short-term bearish divergence is no longer playing out. Because obviously for a couple of days here in the short term, it played out exactly as expected in the form of short-term bearish price action and a bit of neutral price action just over the last few days. But remember, considering it's only on the 3-hour time frame, these smaller patterns on the smaller time frames usually only play out just over a couple of days or so. And considering that right now the RSI just made a new higher high above this previous high right here, that basically confirms the invalidation of this short-term bearish divergence. And so as of right now, we just need to pay attention to these short-term support and resistance zones and this potential price target if we confirm the breakout. And if we're taking a quick look at the price of Solana on the 8-hour time frame, there's not a whole lot to update on, because as of right now, obviously we continued a little bit more of a short-term pullback over the last one day, and right now we're seeing a bit of a short-term bounce along with a lot of the crypto market. But ultimately, as of right now, the price is basically in this sideways price range in between this support and this resistance. First of all, this area of support sitting in between around 120 to 128, and this resistance is sitting in between around 150 to 155. And so when it comes to the short-term trend and momentum, at least for now, while the price is in between this support and this resistance, we're still looking relatively neutral. We don't really have a strong amount of momentum to either direction until we actually break one of these areas on the chart. But if we actually break out above this resistance, so above around 155, we also have to remember we have some more resistance at around 160 and more resistance in between 167 to 172. And once again, if you want to trade these moves in the price of Solana or any other crypto, check out those links down below this video if you want to claim those extra bonuses. And if you want to actually know how to trade crypto, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or chopping around sideways, you can profit from all of that price action by watching these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.